Clare Crawley has broken her silence on her split with Dale Moss, and new cheating allegations have come to light. We're breaking down all the details. Hey guys, welcome to another shared news from home. We have some major Clare and Dale updates, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis and Avery Grooms. Hi, guys. So it has been a total whirlwind since Dale confirmed the news of their breakup on his Instagram. Fans have, of course, been waiting for Clare to come forward with a statement to share some of her side of the story, to know how she's been doing, and we finally got some word from Clare. She broke her silence on her Instagram. She actually shared a lengthy statement on her page and opened it with the fact that she was, quote, made aware of a mutual statement at the same time you all were, and that she needed some time to really digest this. So we're going to get into what she may have meant by that in a second, but I just want to add some of the other context she gave. She said, speaking for myself, my intentions with this relationship have always been very clear. So the truth is, I'm crushed. She's sort of in the middle of her post talked about it being a difficult year, explaining all of the different things we've all been struggling with, what she's been struggling with personally with her mother. And she added that her relationship with Dale was not perfect, but that she was genuinely invested with all of her heart. She said, I may not have all the answers, but I do know this. I will continue to show up, stand by my word, and be committed to love. So a very clear sentiment there at the end. The first thing I do want to talk about with you guys, though, is that very first line. So this basically is insinuating that Dale went ahead, hopped on Instagram, put up that statement that had a lot of wheeze. It certainly sounded like a joint statement, but that he wrote it by himself. He posted it by himself. What are your thoughts on all of that, Mariah?
Something definitely doesn't add up to me. By saying we, it makes all of us think they were in on it together. It was agreed upon message. And we've seen this with celebrity breakups in the past. It's very like, we will always love each other. We hope the best. But then for her to come out and kind of seem completely blindsided, it just sounds awful. So from what I've read, it sounds like they agreed to keep things kind of hush hush and to themselves, so she could kind of process and just deal with the fact that this love story is coming to a close. And I totally get that. So it's gut wrenching that the idea that you would have to see this message made on Instagram for the world to see when you weren't ready to share it. I can only imagine what she's going through. But then again, once rumors start surfacing, I myself would want to get behind them as well and come out with my statement before, one thing leads to another and there's all these crazy allegations being made. So my heart goes out to her, but I also kind of understand where he's coming from in making that post.
I completely agree with you. I think it's pretty messed up to go on social media and see your ex post that and figure out with the rest of everyone else. But I think he also wanted to shut down those rumors and he saw that opportunity as an opening. So he just came on Instagram and said, okay, we broke up. This is what happened. Probably wasn't the best way to go about it, but I think in his head, that was the best way to kind of shut it down the quickest. And I think the longer he gave Clare time to heal or whatever, would also lead to them like maybe talking more about it. And I feel like on his end, he was just already done when she kind of wanted to possibly maybe work things out. But messy.
Yes, it certainly is messy. I mean, what's so interesting is Dale posted that Instagram on the same day that all sorts of source stories were coming out. Like they're taking a break, they're spending time apart, they're working on their relationship. So I totally agree with you guys. There's a world in which Dale was like, well, the longer this goes on, the more misinformation is going to be spread. We're not on a break. We're broken up. I'm going to shut this down. But it is interesting. I mean, tons of outlets were running quotes from sources about how they, were splitting for now, but that the door is still open, or that, Clare was still trying to figure out if there was a future for them. So obviously there's a lot of information being thrown out there. And when it's sourced, we can't know for certain what's true and what isn't. But do you guys get the feeling that maybe behind the scenes, Claire was hoping to make it work, was hoping this was a rough patch, they'd keep it quiet and find their way back? What do you think, Avery?
I think so, especially because the relationship was so public and so pushed for it to work out. I think she still wanted time to like talk about things with him and potentially work things out. And I feel like he did not want to do that, which is another reason why he acted on that so quickly to post that story to say they were done, which is messed up. But once again, I do understand where he's coming from and also where she's coming from. It's just all bad, in my opinion.
I agree. I think again, they started this process in totally different places in both of their lives. And so, from Claire's point of view, I can see her, of course, wanting to make this work, not wanting another love story to kind of end up being a failure, if you will. And Dale, maybe he just signed up for the show for what it could do for his life and what it could produce. And when it came down to the nitty gritty and things started not really going as smoothly. They were already out of the honeymoon phase. Maybe he was more quick to toss in the towel, like, this has been great. Now let's wrap this up. And if, either of them had any hope that they would kind of mend things, making a post on Instagram for the entire world to see and comment on, that really kind of is this is completely over now, and we're not going to be taking any steps backwards in my mind. So I think that Claire would definitely have wanted to make something work. I feel that's kind of the more mature thing. Love is hard for everybody. And especially when you're living on two different sides of the country. I think they could have made it work, but the desire wasn't there on both parts.
Yeah, that's so true. And I mean, if both parties are not interested in, investing in a relationship, that eventually, it is going to be what it is, which is sad as that is. Looks like that may be where we are. Interestingly enough, Claire's statement came out on the same day that new cheating allegations surfaced against Dale. So we've got a lot to talk about here as well. A source spoke to E! News and alleged that Dale had been cheating on Claire throughout the engagement. So not like a one-time thing, that this was a consistent, cheating habit, if you will. The allegations are that Dale's relationship with a female friend that Claire was aware of was not actually above board, that it wasn't just a platonic friendship, that there was, more going on behind the scenes. Apparently, Dale insisted to Claire that their relationship was simply a business relationship, but this source says that Claire has always been skeptical. They said, quote, she never trusted the friendship and thought that it was shady. So these sources told E! News that the woman we're talking about has been talking to her friends about sneaking around with Dale. And apparently, according to this source, Claire has actually seen proof that whenever Dale was in New York without her, he was spending time with this other woman. It is, of course, very important to note here that sources close to Dale are denying these allegations, saying there's absolutely no truth to it, and backing up, the other side of the story, which is that she is simply a close friend. Someone in Dale's camp said, quote, Dale was faithful to Claire throughout their entire relationship. He is committed to staying on good terms with Claire and has nothing but love and respect for her. As for the woman in question, the source notes she is a longtime friend who was helping Dale find an apartment in New York for him and Claire. So a lot to unpack here. Of course, this is not the first time cheating allegations have surfaced against Dale. A while back, we was spotted, out with a girl. I think there was a kiss on the cheek. And it seems as though it's all the same person. So again, obviously these are source statements, but I feel like the facts we have on the table is there is a woman who Dale is really, really close to. Whether it's above board or not above board, it could have been a source of stress in their relationship. So what do you guys think? Do you feel like there's any truth to these rumors? Do you think she was just a friend? From where I'm sitting, even if she was just a friend, that in and of itself could have been enough, to cause tension, to cause problems. What do you think, Mariah?
All I know is any guy friend I've had, however close we were, they've never kissed me on the cheek and I've never kissed them on the cheek. So that's a little fishy to me. I think it's kind of a personal preference on the boundaries you have with your significant other and their opposite sex relationships. So obviously, if you have a very close friend, or if I was dating someone that had very close female friendships, I would kind of be like, I mean, it may make me insecure at times. But at the same time, Dale is a public figure now. All eyes are on him, and everyone wants to catch him in the act. Honestly, anybody who goes on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, everyone's hoping to see where you mess up, and you've got to know that all eyes are on you. So you would have to be just absolutely out of your mind to just go public with some type of shady relationship. So surely he is smart enough to know that if he was going to cheat, there's no way he'd get away with it. And I do think that this is just a close friendship that he has. And because we all want, I mean, the media wants to find something wrong with everybody. I think that's more likely it. It's just they're making something out of something that is more innocent, regardless of what your boundaries are. Like, well, you don't need to be having dinner with any female, anything like that. Like, it can be taken the wrong way. And I think that's probably what's happening here. I hope. I can't imagine anyone being that dumb to just start dating women out in the open in New York City where there's paparazzi.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe anyone would get married after a week either. So I feel like there's a little bit of truth to both ends. I understand why she's skeptical of the girl, especially since he's spending so much time out of town with her. Who knows what they're doing? But then again, like you said, Mariah, out in public, all eyes are on him. Like, he can't be that dumb. And I just have a theory that maybe it's not that girl, but there was cheating, because to me, it seems like going on the show for him was kind of a PR stunt. And then he got a little taste of the influencer life and more attention from girls and stayed in New York while Claire's in Sacramento doing whatever. And I feel like that's just the type of guy he is, and that's what he wants. And ultimately, that's why this didn't work out. So I don't really know who to believe, but I feel like there's some truth to both sides to this story still.
Well, yeah, that's a really interesting point you bring up, because I'd say, cheating rumors aside, I don't think we're going to know for certain one way or another on that. But what I almost find more interesting is that other insiders, sources, whatever, are coming forward, claiming that Dale went on the show for, the wrong reasons, as we all love to say. And I think I might be misremembering this, but I feel like some of the guys in the 5 minutes we saw them competing for Claire's heart were a little skeptical of Dale's, intentions even back then. And now these sources are describing him as a, quote, fame seeker. The source notes there were signs that were there all along. It is apparently obvious now to Claire. The source says things are making sense to her now. She didn't want to believe it at first, but is heartbroken. Another source made it very clear that Dale doesn't want to give up the party life he has in New York City. They said he loves the New York scene. His partying would be a problem in their relationship, would cause many fights. Bottom line, continues the source, she wants to get married, settle down, have children. They were on completely different pages, which is something we've, of course, talked about a lot. And I think, I'm sitting here just wondering how it's possible that they fell so hard so fast, being on such polar opposite pages, especially because Claire made it clear from moment one that she wanted to get married, wanted to have a family, wanted to settle down. If Dale is some guy who loves partying in New York City, shouldn't he have known? How did we get here? How did we fall this far down the rabbit hole? What do you think, Avery?
I think he originally went on The Bachelorette to gain some clout. And then, sure, him and Claire hit it off. They had a great relationship. He obviously did not look like any of the other guys there. It's clear that this guy is a potential model. He was the best looking one, in my opinion. And she totally grabbed that as quick as she could. And next thing you know, him and Chris Harrison are sitting in a room and he's like, so are you ready to propose? Everyone's gone, show's over. And I feel like in that situation, you're in this bubble and it's not actual reality. He's probably not thinking straight, but has all this pressure on him. And yes, I'm sure he really liked Claire, but in that moment, he probably was like, okay, I have to do this or I'm going to actually ruin the show and it's going to all fall on him. So I think they definitely rushed into it. And I don't think he was as in love as Claire claims they were, at least on his side, which is sad to say, but it's kind of clear what he wanted out of this. And I don't think at the end of the day, it was her, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like throughout his, short amount of time on the show, he was the one and only yes man. He was a yes man at all times, and he did everything and said everything that would convince her she found the right one. I mean, aside from the fact that, like you said, he was gorgeous, he is gorgeous. So it didn't take much manipulation on his part, but I feel like he was a yes man. He told her everything that she wanted to hear up until like it was time to get engaged. And now that the cameras aren't rolling, reality sets in, and he still has a lifestyle that he wants to get back to, especially more so because he has this newfound clout and all of these people who want to be around him. And I'm sure all of these other beautiful New York City women who are around that he may be interested in getting to know because they're not ready to get married and have children like Claire is. So I think there are so many signs pointing to him just wanting to gain clout, especially knowing that like he has had the paparazzi called, or that he's called the paparazzi on himself just so he can get like a statement made or whatever. It does kind of seem like he is trying to say the right things even still, but to whoever his audience is. So I definitely think that our guy is out for clout.
I definitely agree with you both. I think the wrong reasons is totally the way to describe Dale's intentions. I mean, he also, since the season was so, flipped around, there were so many paparazzi leaks and so much like we knew what was coming before episode 1, right? So everyone out there was researching Dale. And on paper, I mean, he does charity work, he models, he's an athlete. I think he stole the hearts of so many people just by being this like whirlwind Prince Charming. That I think he maybe got a little comfortable in thinking that this split could happen and he could walk away from it and everything would be fine. But clearly, regardless of exactly how it all played out, there is some messiness behind the scenes for sure. Last time we talked about this split, as the news was just breaking, we chatted about the possibilities of like a reconciliation. Claire maybe still wanted to make it work. There was distance, there's a pandemic. Could they find their way back? I'm starting to feel a little more confident in the no, I don't think they're the one for each other, as sad as that is. But I want to check in with you guys. Mariah, do you see a way back? Do you see them finding each other again?
I don't. I wish that I could root for them, but it's not that I don't root for them individually, but clearly they don't want the same things, and they aren't as willing to commit to the relationship. I think, like I mentioned earlier, once you make that post and you get it out to the universe, hey, we're not together anymore, I feel like you are officially closing that chapter. So I don't see a future for them anymore. I hope that it stays clean though, and that there's not any like shots fired in the future. Let's just keep it classy. But I don't think we will be getting back together anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either. They just also got engaged like fairly recently to me. It hasn't even been that long. So I feel like he immediately was annoyed and realized this was not it. And like you said, Mariah, like he was so quick to post that. He saw an opening and he did not hesitate. He didn't even decide to talk about it with Claire. He just publicly told everyone with no hesitation, because that's what matters to him, is like the followers, the recognition. And it's becoming more clear the more we talk about this. But I don't think there's any chance of them getting back together, especially now he's going to be hanging out with all these models. He loves the party life. Like he's going to act on that, not go settle down in Sacramento with Claire.
I totally agree with you both. Obviously, our hearts go out to Claire. We know how badly she wanted, her fairy tale ending, and hopefully she will find it, when she's ready with the right person in Sacramento, have all those kids she wants to have. Of course, we only root for the best. For now, you guys, we want to know your thoughts on all of these rumors. What do you think exactly went down behind the scenes? Do you think there was cheating? Do you think it was just different lifestyles? Let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future updates. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by Mariah Davis and Avery Grooms. If you want to come say hi, all of our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.